So here we're going to see patterns in terms of how I planted these. Generally speaking, I try not to have the same tree two in a row. So here we've got an apple, and then next to it that's a plum. Note they're extremely close. This is a very dwarfing variety. It's more like a bush. We're going to espalier it, meaning train it to this wire, these wires. And then it's not going to shade out this plum, which will be a taller tree, 6 or 8 feet. This will be 5 or 6 feet. So this tree is going to get up to here, and that's why it's so close. And then here we got a black locust, wanting just to fill in the space for windbreak again, and then as a support tree and as a buffer, so that a part of the reason we're doing this is we don't want the apple pests to have an easy time to get to the next apple. So we're making it go through multiple trees, like Sabiowicz, Stephen Sabiowicz up in Canada. That's where we got that idea from. He's got the permaculture orchard. So we're doing something very similar. We're trying to do something similar. But you'll just see apple, plum, black locust. Apple, plum, black locust. A dead apple, plum, black locust. Apple, plum, locust, and so forth. Most of our losses have been in the apples. They were not the strongest trees. And if I had it to do over again, I would get a slightly larger rootstock. These were tiny little whips, and I think just getting that extra 1/8 of an inch in the caliper makes a big difference in survivability. These are, I think those were 3/16 caliper, and these were 3/8 or 1/4, one of the two. And obviously a much healthier looking tree, higher survival rate. So getting that extra 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch, in my mind, is well worth it. Only a few cents more per tree. So, and then we come to the end of this apple plum row, and we'll probably have, similar maturity. So we'll have different varieties of apples, but they'll mature in the same week for this row. And then similarly going back, I think again we've got apple plum back in this row. Now in this row, this is a cherry rootstock. So we've got cherry apple, and here you can see we've got apple cherry. So again, trying to keep distance between the same species of tree, not put them right next to each other, although sometimes they're pretty close. Like this apple is honestly, it's pretty close to this apple. So we might take one of those out eventually, just to cut down on disease and pests. We'll see how it works. But some of these apples are looking great. I mean, this is a very good looking apple. It's funny, we put this in kind of sideways. So now this is a branch, but it looks like the main stem of the tree, and this will probably be the part that we keep. And we'll cut off the other part. Pretty amazing how these trees survive and thrive. So again, cherry, apple, cherry, dead apple, cherry, apple, and then back into the higher value trees. And we could go down each row and kind of find that. Again, the biggest losses we had were apples. So here's another dead apple in a row of cherry apple. And here we've got cherry apple, black locust. I'm throwing my hat into the black locust ring. I love locust. I love how hardy it is. Just don't have to really care for it at all. It just does its thing. Ripping it up, really. Bindweed. Okay, so this goes on like this, and we basically just have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows like this. And then it narrows back there. So back there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we only have 5. So it's 10, and then it narrows down, and we lose a row every 4 to 6 trees. And we've got these trees along the fence line. I'd like to try to do these espalier things. Seems like a fun thing to do.